The updates I can provide at this time, the juvenile who did in fact overdose, his condition is still grave. It has not changed. The two juveniles that came in contact with the substance, the two 12-year-olds, they have been since released with their parents. This happened last night. A search of the school after school closed resulted in nearly 40 bags of heroin that was located, fentanyl, that was located within different areas of the school, or up to 3 different areas of the school. The school is closed today, obviously, for decontamination purposes. DEA collected those bags, and the reason being is that they have their own lab, and that could expedite the testing process. A presumptive test was conducted on scene, which showed the presence of fentanyl. A conclusive test confirmed that it was in fact fentanyl. As far as the investigation goes, we did execute a search warrant at the victim's home. I can't get into the investigative, what we found over there, or where we're going in that case, other than it is still an active investigation. Detectives are in communication with mom, who is being fully cooperative in the investigation at this point. Again, not much for updates, but I'll try to answer any questions you may have.
40 bags of, was it pure fentanyl?
The test concluded that it was in fact fentanyl.
Not cut with anything.
Correct.
Was it heroin that contained fentanyl?
That's usually what we see is fentanyl in place of heroin.
So it's within the same product though. Like, was there heroin in the product as well?
It was fentanyl. Fentanyl.
Just fentanyl.
Correct.
40 bags of just fentanyl.
Correct.
Okay, and then was it in like a powder? What it is?
In powder form.
In powder form.
Packaged in what you would see in street level sales.
Okay, so like a little bag.
Correct.
Were there any logos or anything on it?
There was identifying logos on the product.
And so these were found in different classrooms. Where were they all found?
I believe we had 2 classrooms in the gymnasium, but they were all places that the overdose victim was.
So students, I mean, at any point, they could have access to it. They just didn't know where it was.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
I said students, I mean, they were right there. They just didn't know.
That's why the school went to an immediate soft lockdown. Students were contained in classrooms. That's why we went with the dogs. That's why we took those precautions. They also had the students walk out in sort of like a disinfectant bath, so in case they walk through it. So the school did a great job, as well as everybody that responded out here as far as safety measures are concerned.
The 2 students who were released from the hospital, are they cooperating with police? What would you say about that?
Again, there's a lot of interviews that have to be conducted still. I know I always say this, but it's early. There's a lot of work to do on this. There's a very active investigation to be conducted by just about everybody in the PD. Just about every division in the PD is investigating this from one angle or another. Again, the DEA assisted us, state police assisted us yesterday. DEP assisted us with the decontamination. So, lot of hands, all hands on deck on this one.
Have you seen anything like this in the history of Hartford Public Schools? This amount of drugs?
Personally, I have not.
What do you make of students being right next to 40 bags of fentanyl?
Concerning, very concerning.
Is this a Hartford student? Because the students around the county use this student.
The school, I believe, has 84 towns. I think it's the total of people that go, but the individuals involved were from Hartford.
Okay, so all of those 40 bags were dispersed within just 3 spaces?
Correct.
Okay. And do you think that there was thought that maybe this was cocaine, perhaps?
I mean, again, we're trying to get to the bottom of that. That's a tough one to answer. These are young kids. I mean, what's going through their head, I don't know.
So if this is kind of like street level stuff, let's say, kind of packaged that way, kind of had some, just describing features.
In other words, it wasn't like a candy. It wasn't disguised as a gummy or anything like that.
So because of this, do you feel like there was intent to distribute within the school?
I can't even begin to answer that question. I can't even begin to know if he knew what it was. I don't know.
Were these bags sealed?
What's that?
So were these bags sealed?
Typically, when you see bags of fentanyl in the city for street level sales, they're not sealed. No.
I mean, this could be open where kids could have been contaminated. They could have been out in the air.
Correct. That's why the school did exactly what they did.
Let's talk about that potency again. I know that we talked about it yesterday, that this amount and in this pure form is deadly.
Deadly. Yeah. Deadly substance. I mean, we had 111 people die in the city from fentanyl overdoses last year. So I mean, it's killing people. The mayor called it poison yesterday. I couldn't agree more. It's poison.
How rare is it this is pure fentanyl versus it's an heroin and other drugs. Is this a rare find to just
No.
compare?
No,
And
it's common.
It is, but it's common now.
It's common, yep.
Do we know any more about the level of exposure that those other two students had at this point?
We believe, based on the fact that they were released after observation, that it was very minimal.
Very minimal, if
Correct.
any at all.
I said yesterday that they complained of feeling dizzy,
Right.
so that tells me very minimal.
You said yesterday that it's believed that a student brought in those bags. into
Correct.
School. A different student than the three that we've spoken
No.
to? Unknown, right?
We don't believe so.
We don't think they were related.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The student, it's expected that a student brought them in.
One of the
None
three, yeah, correct.
It's believed that
It wasn't a
one of the
different
three-
student, correct.
So the student who brought it in is not believed to be one of the three.
No, he is,
Okay,
correct.
thank you.
So the student who planted the bags, that's the student who's in great condition?
That, we believe so. Again,
Okay.
an investigation continues, so some of the information I have now is as accurate as I have it. Things change quickly, hour by hour sometimes in these investigations, so what I have now is always subject to change, but that's where we are now.
You know his condition. You're not able to talk to him yet.
Grave condition is in bad shape, unfortunately, so
Do you know if the other two students are they cooperating?
we'll be speaking to them. We have spoken to them already. We'll most likely be interviewing them again with their parents. We're going to talk to mom and dad, and there's all hands on deck here. So lots of interviews to go. People at the school to interview, teachers possibly. So
Are people overwhelmingly being cooperative?
yes, absolutely. This is a young kid. This is a 13-year-old kid. So yes.
Can you tell us anything about the next steps? How do you go from here? I mean, there's going to be more police presence maybe when the investigation is finished.
Well,
Talking with students?
I assume that would probably be a question for the schools. I mean, I know the school's taking this very seriously. As far as precautions they're taking and safety measures, that'd be a question for the school.
Excuse me. Yeah. I lost it. I'm sorry.
So next for you guys is what? Interviews.
Yep.
Just a little rundown. Of
Right. And I don't want to get into the investigation too much at this point. Just to say that it is all hands on deck. Every division in this department is working on this from one angle or another.
Do police recognize the taggings and the identification marks? that
I'm
were
sorry,
on-
can you-
Do police recognize the identification marks that were on the bags? In other words, is this coming from a dealer or a person that...
These bags have all kinds of different stamps on them. It's innumerable, really. So, have we seen this stamp before? I'm not sure. I can't answer that. But that doesn't make it any less deadly. Anything with fentanyl is just as deadly.
Any estimate on street value what you guys found?
I don't know.
40 bags powder fentanyl.
I'm sorry?
You said 40 bags powder fentanyl.
Correct.
Ounces per bag or grams per bag?
I don't have that.
You know if you're looking at any other school?
What's that?
So you know if you're looking at any other school?
Not at this point, no. Any other questions?
I missed.
No, I think we covered it. Again, if there's a condition in the, if there's a change in the condition, I'll certainly alert you guys. All right? All right, guys.
Thank you.